It's been so long since I've filmed a video that I've completely forgotten how to do it. I've restarted this video like this is my 10th take now, just because I can't figure out how to speak publicly anymore. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm JJ the Bearded Bookworm, and today I'm going to be talking about my August TBR. When I originally was making my list of saying, okay, here's the books that I'm going to be reading, I was still ordering them and I didn't realize how big these books actually are page count wise. And with work and everything going on, I didn't realize until I really wrote them down and added it up how much I'm going to be reading. So I'm probably not going to get to some of these, but I'm going to do my damnedest to knock all these out, because there are some shorter books, and so that'll definitely help with that overall. So for the first book, I'm still moving forward with the Cosmere 2020 read. I severely cut that down to just the bare essentials, and right now it's Words of Radiance, Edge Dancer, and Oathbringer in preparation for Rhythm of War. And that new novella Dawn Shard, when it comes out, I'll probably knock that out as well before the new one comes out, because it sounds like that's actually going to be delivered before the new book comes out. And if Edge Dancer is any indication of how it played into Oathbringer, Dawn Shard is probably going to play a semi-significant part going into Rhythm of War. So, the first book is Words of Radiance, like I said. And I've got it all tabbed up because this is a massive book, and if I only focus on this, it won't get done. So I've tabbed it all up. It's 42 pages a day starting today, so if you want to read along as well, just know you need to read 42 pages to finish Words of Radiance by August 31st. So next up is my Stephen King book, which feels like a joke because I've been talking about reading Stephen King books since January, and I've read one, The Dark Tower. So I felt like doing a softball. I don't know if it's an easier read than others. I don't know anything about this book, really. And I'm going to be reading Carrie by Stephen King. For the most part, I'm going to be doing one Stephen King book a month with some minor tweaks. I'm going to be doing publication order. I don't know a lot about the book other than it's about a girl who is severely picked on by her classmates, and she has the power of telekinesis, and at a certain point she just kind of snaps and starts tearing some stuff up. It's my guess. I haven't read the book. I haven't read any Stephen King books except for Dark Tower. To my knowledge, I haven't even seen a Stephen King movie. That's something, as I'm going through, that's why I was wanting to only do one per month, is so that as I go through and read the books, I can watch the adaptations, because for the most part, Stephen King's stories have all been adapted. No, that's completely untrue, but it certainly feels like it. You go down the list, it's like adaptation, 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 multiple adaptations. So if that is something that you want to see me cover, as far as the adaptations, which ones are good, which ones did things better or not, which ones are even worth watching, let me know down below. Next up in the continuing series group is Full Moon by Jim Butcher, book 2 in the Dresden Files series. I haven't put up the review for Stormfront yet, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited to continue on because from what I understand, it just continues to get better. And I'm really excited as well because werewolves are probably my favorite horror monster, just kind of in general. And from what I understand, this is where the werewolves are really introduced. It kind of centers around a werewolf biker gang type thing. I don't know. I'm doing my best to just stay away from all spoilers or anything like that to give me hints of what's to come. So next up for my fantasy picks for this month, I've got 3. I'm like I said before at the beginning, I'm doing my best to make sure I get through all of these because of things that are coming later in the year. I need to get them out, get them done as quickly as possible so that I can be ready for, honestly, for November. November's a big month. So that first book is We Ride the Storm by Devin Madsen. This book I don't know a lot about other than I covered it in my summer releases video. But from what I understand, she's currently working on book 4 of this series, even though this is the only one that's released thus far. For those of you that don't know, this was originally self-published and was such a hit that it got picked up by Orbit Books and is now part of a 5-book deal. It's got 3 main characters. One's a princess that's stuck in her castle. Another one's this assassin that has voices talking to her in her head, and she's going crazy, losing her grip on reality. And the last character is a captain and his group of warriors that have been exiled and forced to go fight in this other foreign war or face death. Based on the cover and the characters' names, it doesn't look like it's based on a European fantasy setting. Looks like it's more of a Middle Eastern or Indian setting or inspired. The next book for August is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This book's been all the rage the last few months, and I'm really excited because it's a Chinese-inspired fantasy based on actual history, from what I understand, or inspired by actual history. And the third book, The Burning God, comes out in November, so I'm going to be reading this. Then next month I'll read The Dragon Republic. That way I'll be ready for when The Burning God comes out in November, because assuming I like this, because everybody else that I've seen has enjoyed it, I want to be ready for when that new release hits. Speaking of November releases, the next book is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I've been trying to read this, trying to get to this for months now. And I finally just got the physical copy because I feel like I'll do a lot better with that versus the Kindle version. But this is an African-inspired fantasy. There are women that can speak to dragons or control dragons, and they are paired up with gifted that have gifts. They have powers, and they're able to do certain things. And this is a super revenge story. I think it even says it on here that it's likened to Gladiator. So I'm really excited about that. I've read the first chapter or 2 from when I tried before, and it was really interesting. I just got super lost in it, and so hopefully having that physical copy will help me continue and not get lost. And continuing on the super hyped books, I'm going to be reading Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is the second book in the Red Rising trilogy. Once again, read the first book, haven't put out the review yet, but I enjoyed it enough to pick up the next one, mostly because, from what I understand, this book and Morningstar are head and shoulders above the first entry, and everybody loves this. Is a super hyped series. And I will say this, Pierce Brown suckered me in with the first little bit of Red Rising to where I will follow this story to the end just to make sure that the things that I need to have resolved are resolved. The last book I'm reading for August is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. It's the first book in the Murderbot Diaries series. I guess technically it's a novella. It's only 160 pages, but it's about a security robot that has disabled its governing chip, So now it is able to actually make choices of its own accord. It's not attached. It's your typical AI or robot becoming human and being able to make human choices. And Murderbot is its nickname that it gives itself because it was made to kill or protect. And so now it's doing its job, but slowly becoming more human from what I understand. I'm going to be going through this as well. There's a box set coming out in September that I'm super stoked about. I believe there's 4 like short novellas or novels, and then there's a 5th one that's actually a full-blown novel, and a 6th one that's coming out next year sometime. So really excited. From what I've heard, I've only heard great things about this series. Everybody that's read it has said it's excellent. It's super fun. So needed because, you know, as you can tell, I've got a ton of books on here. I needed a good sci-fi book to add into the mix to just kind of mix things up and not just have everything be the same. So those are the books that I'm planning on reading in August. Hopefully I can get through most of them, if not all of them. Let me know down in the comments which books you're wanting to see reviews of so I can prioritize those over others. Also, let me know down in the comments what books are you reading this month, what's your plan. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Once again, I'm JJ the Bearded Bookworm, and I'll see you tomorrow.